What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fourth and Goal Sports Show. I'm your host, Tyrus Filson, and today we're talking about the Washington Commanders and their new quarterback, Sam Howell. And I want to give a little bit of a preview. I know the season's still far away, but it's fastly approaching. I want to give a little preview to my personal expectations as a Washington Commanders fan for Sam Howell this season. You hear the excitement, you hear the pressure, you hear the expectations, and I want to give my personal expectations for Sam Howell because I feel like majority of the fan base right now is giving him a large amount of pressure. And pressure's fine, but if it's unwarranted and unrealistic, it's no point. It's no point. And I feel like Sam Howell it's a lot on his shoulders to live up to that pressure. It's a lot on his shoulders. So I want to give my personal expectations for Sam Howell, and let's get right into it. So let's go ahead and start it off with passing yards. I think that this season Sam Howell is going to have a great, solid passing season. I have him throwing for 3,500 yards, and really, passing has never been an issue for him. He has a huge arm. He has a solid strength. And he's one of those quarterbacks where he has the accuracy, he has the big arm, and he also has the big play ability. And what I mean by big play ability is you've seen it from former Washington quarterbacks like Carson Wentz, like Kirk Cousins. A lot those type of guys, they had the big arm, but what they lacked was accuracy. And when it comes to Taylor Heinicke recently, I think he had that too. A lot of people underestimated his arm, but he lacked accuracy. And so Sam Howell, I would say, in my personal opinion, he's probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks we Commanders fans have had in a long time. He's accurate. He has a big arm. And he takes shots. And he takes big shots. As you saw in that Dallas game, when he threw it in motion to Terry, he didn't throw it where Terry had to stop. He threw it in motion. He's an in motion thrower, and that's something you gotta love as a Washington wide receiver. And I think he's gonna do big things in the passing game this year. I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people. If you watched his film in college at UNC, you would see that Sam Howell is a big throw ability quarterback. He's going to get the ball downfield. Every time. He's going to sling it. He's going to get it to De'Ami Brown. He's going to get it to Terry. He's going to get it to Curtis Samuel. He's going to get it to Jahan. I feel like this season is going to be a big season for our wide receivers. I think Sam Howell is going to do big things, and he's going to open up the passing game for sure. Then we move on to passing touchdowns. When it comes to passing touchdowns, I have Sam Howell throwing for a total of 25 passing touchdowns. I think that Sam Howell is going to have a better passing touchdown ratio than his predecessors, obviously Carson Wentz and Taylor Heinicke. And I'm basing that off of, in comparison, when you compare Taylor Heinicke, the season he had to replace Ryan Fitzpatrick, he had a total of 20 touchdowns. I think Sam Howell can add another 5 to that. And when you consider the weapons he has on offense with, I would say, in my personal opinion, the best offensive coordinator in the NFL, two-time Super Bowl champion, Eric Bieniemy, I think Sam Howell can really sling it out there. I think he can sling it, and he can be free out there. I don't think he's going to be as limited as people think just because he's a young quarterback. I think he's going to be able to open up the playbook. I think he's going to be able to, have a total of 25 touchdowns. I think he's really going to get those guys, Jahan and Terry, Curtis, and De'Ami. I think he's going to get those guys their touches, and he's going to get them more touchdowns this season. Then we head on into rushing yards. I want to get to rushing yards. So when it comes to rushing yards, I think that Sam Howell is an elusive rusher. And not just that, He's not just elusive. I think he has underrated speed. I think he is also an underrated dozer. He can be a bulldozer. He can, because he has the stature, but a lot of guys have the stature and don't have the speed with it. Look at guys that are just really big but are slow. Sam Howell is kind of like a short guy, but he's lengthy, has strength, and he has speed. And if you watch his film at UNC, one thing that stood out to me was if he has to take off, he can take off. And he's not just going to outrun you. He's going to, if you're running with him and you got the speed, he's going to stiff arm you, or he might run you over. If you watch the Dallas Cowboys Week 18 game, Washington Commanders versus Dallas Cowboys, you would know Sam Howell was trucking guys.
Nice cut. Howell is in. Touchdown, Washington.
That's just going to translate immediately. But lo and behold, he gets a rushing touchdown against, unbiasedly, one of the best defenses in the NFL, probably top 10, top 5, Dallas Cowboys. And he's out there balling. And I really think that this year he's going to have a solid rushing performance. I got him going for 500 rushing yards and a total of 5 rushing touchdowns. I think he's going to be able to really be free in that pocket, and just when he has to take off, because the way this O-line is looking right now, he's going to have to take off a lot. When he has to take off, I think he'll be fine. When he has to take off, he'll do what he needs to do. And then lastly, when it comes to interceptions, when it comes to turnovers, I think in the past seasons, Washington Commanders, Washington football team, Washington Redskins have always had a quarterback that turns it over a lot. And I would say I really hope Sam Howell can change that. I really do. But I want to be realistic when you consider that he's learning a new playbook with Eric Bieniemy, a new OC coming in. Scott Turner's gone. When you consider the fact that this is only his second season and he doesn't have a lot of game play experience in the NFL. He did have that in college. He played all 4 years. But in the NFL, he's only played one NFL game. He played a little preseason, but let's be realistic. He's played one NFL game against Dallas Cowboys. I think when it comes to interceptions, I think he's going to throw a total of 15 interceptions. That's how many Taylor Heineke threw his year that he took over for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That season, Fitzpatrick gets injured first game of the season, first play. And then Heineke comes in, takes over for the rest of the season. Heineke had a solid 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And I think that Sam Howell can have 25 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And also, when you take into account of how many rushing yards he could have with the cool 500 and a cool, five rushing touchdowns, I think that evens it out fairly where it can, it can be reasonable to say that that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid, And I think that Sam Howell's going to do big things this year, and he's really going to lead this team. And from what we're hearing right now in training camp, Sam Howell's doing pretty good. He's doing very good from what I've heard. And, I think that when we get to the preseason, from the little we will see of Sam Howell, that'll be a good showing of what he's improved on and what he's accomplished in his offseason workouts and in training camp, how he's gotten better as a quarterback. But realistically, unbiasedly, the biggest test for Sam Howell, in my opinion, starts with week 1. It starts with week 1. You hear a lot of talk right now about the Arizona Cardinals being one of the worst teams in the league, and they're not even gonna they're not even gonna do anything this year. I've been hearing that because of Kyler Murray's injury and the unsurety, the less of security at quarterback. But realistically, it's the NFL. It's any given Sunday. Anybody can win. So Sam Howell's got to prepare, and he's got to step up as a leader. He's got to, I think week 1, I don't want to put too much expectations on them, but I would say they need to dominate. They need to dominate that game. They need to embarrass the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be a sellout crowd. It's with the recent sale of the team, the new owners coming in, the new era beginning in DC for the Commanders. It's a new era. The fans are going to be there. They're going to be packed. And I really hope that Sam Howell can show out that game, because that's the game right there that's going to show us the direction this team is going to go. That's the game that's going to show us, is Sam Howell really the guy? And obviously I know it's a full season, so he could do bad week 1 and then show out the next week. But I really believe when you're facing a team that's more than likely going to be picking top 5 in the draft, you got to show out. You need to prove who you're going to be for this season. So, starting off right week 1 is a big deal. But in conclusion, I just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for taking a moment of your time to show some support to the new channel. And I just want to say have a good rest of your day, and thank you for listening.